I fixed myself a salad. So it's already noontime. I have been looking for my glasses, turning over the
Oh,
whole house.
wow. Like almost 4 hours.
Yeah. And so finally I just said, forget it, right? I had gone under the bed.
Like almost 4 hours.
Yes. I was looking everywhere for those glasses. And so I finally fixed myself a salad and I went out on my back porch and I sat down. And while I was sitting there eating my salad, I was like, okay, I looked through the car like 3 times. And so I'm sitting there eating my salad, staring at my car. And I thought, yesterday when I was getting ready to go into the post office, I thought, my dog keeps on stepping on my glasses. So I said, let me throw them up on the dashboard. And I sat there staring at the car at the dashboard and I didn't see them. And I said, oh, I thought it was a bad idea to throw them on the dashboard. So I stuck them over the visor. I mean, it just came to me just like that.
You got instant replay, right?
I had looked everywhere. I was sitting up here calculating what it would cost me to replace the darn glasses and, just all in that space until I just sat down and I was like, there they are. And then once I figured that out, I was like, I didn't even need to go get them. I was like, just.
All right. I know where you are.
Yeah, it was just crazy. I actually, I was calling places, it was like that. I was calling. I was in your place. Yeah. Did anybody turn in? And I kept thinking, didn't I have them in the car? Yes, you had them in the car because the dog stepped on them. That's why you moved them.
Funny.
So, yes, it's I talked to my girlfriend Tyra, who was in elementary school with me, and because a friend of ours, Anita, her sister died, and so we were, talking about the funeral stuff, all that stuff. And Tyra says to me, she was like, girl, she was like, I can remember everybody from elementary school and junior high school. And I know this and I know that and blah, blah, blah. She's like, it's just yesterday. I can't remember. I was like, oh no.
That's not okay.
Right. So we talked about that a little bit.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, I guess it is something that, doing right now to kind of stave off that, that dementia or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
I'm going to start proclaiming I have a wonderful memory and I have total recall and, yeah. So anywho. So
you got my journey. That's my challenge right now. So I got other things.
Yeah, you got good plans for the weekend?
Oh, I don't. Wow.
Do you dance, Stephanie?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I wasn't for sure. So I saw that Shelly Shockley posted up something about there was supposed to be line dancing at Wild World Park or
outside.
Yeah.
Oh, this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's today.
I don't know a lot of line dances since I'm not even gonna tell you since when, but I don't know. I think the last modern line dance I know how to do is the wobble.
The wobble. Okay.
Yeah. So
I don't know a lot of them either. Heck, I don't know what you're talking about. The ones I know.
Yeah, the ones I know. I mean,
I can make up some more stuff.
That would be fun. I can't wait till the ballroom dancing comes back because that's my favorite. So,
okay.
And so we'll see. I don't know how long it's going to take him to do it. I'll just
A
steady
little
dance with my
touchy in.
chair. Huh?
Get you a little touchy in.
Right.
The,
Yeah.
the, the thing about ballroom dance, and I'm not really good at it, but the thing I love about it is it seems to put the woman in on display. It's like
Mm-hmm.
such a you there's a wonderful I don't even know how to describe it, just the whole energy of feeling beautiful while you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
yeah, I
so
like
true. It's so true. And just practicing, not for me, is practicing leaning in, like leaning back and trusting and surrendering. So when I go, I'm constantly in that space of, this is a moment of surrender. Let go, this is safe. This is a safe person. This is, so it's really good. It's like therapy for me. But and people say that I'm good at it, but I don't feel good at it. Yeah, but I'm always feeling, because I'm always like, oh Lord, am I going to stop following and start taking over? Because in the beginning, that was a struggle for me to just
Ooh,
be like, I know where you're going, anticipating,
yeah,
anticipating the move, and I just need to be in the moment and just let it
yeah.
go.
Uh,
And so I guess when I'm there, I am there, but I don't feel like I feel like that's a struggle for me, but people say they can't see it, but I can feel it all over my body, trying to
okay.
surrender and let this person lead me. What? Who's doing that?
I have a hard time with the same thing though. I must admit, to learn how to follow is not
Yeah.
that. Look, that's a good point. Maybe that's a whole experience in itself. Is just like, let me learn how to follow.
Mhm.
Whew. So
Yeah.
right. So I'm excited about this, about all of it. So today I think we are going to you know what? Meant to reread this story. So uh,
Old lady with the ovarian cyst.
I don't okay. Okay. I meant to reread the story. So I actually am going to have to read the story on here. It's all good.
Is that the one you're talking about, or the one after that? The
Um oh, I
I don't
don't
even know what page we're
We're on 136. Okay. So, hey, Tony. Good morning. Oh, ballroom to me. Yes, it is sexy. That's what I was just saying. And so I need to learn how to look. I know how to be sexy. I just don't know how to follow.
on. No, that is what makes it sexy.
Oh, good morning. So, so blessings to you, opening up this space, knowing that the words spoken here are filled with light, love, and wisdom of the highest. I greet you on this wonderful day. And so, what I was just saying to Stephanie after the ballroom dance comments is that while I meant to this morning kind of open up and read this story, I am going to, and usually I just paraphrase it, but this morning I'm going to have to delve into this a little bit because while I'm looking at it, I know that it's about the cyst, but I think that what I'll do is just read through it real quick so that we'll all be on the same page. All right, so here we go. So second chakra energy, I am on page 136 since I know that Gretchen is following along in the book. Second chakra energy is one of the primary resources we have for coping with the day-to-day events of our lives, providing creative solutions to mental, physical, and spiritual problems. Blocking this energy can give rise to impotence. Do I need to repeat that again? Infertility,
Mhm.
vaginal infections, endometriosis, and depression. Oh my gosh. And I have a cousin who has endometriosis, and she developed that at an early age. And while I don't know all of what it entails, I know that she used to be in constant pain behind it. And so, so some of this stuff, while we may talk about it in the present tense as if it is something that may be developing, it may be something that has already developed, or it may be something that is inherited. And just like we talked about yesterday, is that sometimes we accept as part of our lineage different issues and ideas, whether it is shame, whether it is repeated. There are certain things that we do repeat. I know that I have friends who had, and I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I have a friend whose mother, for the most part, as long as I can remember her, was involved in a relationship with a married man.
Mhm.
And then to turn around and see her daughter do the same thing.
Mhm.
It becomes one of those, the cyclical things. And I just wonder how much of, since we do behaviors that are similar to the ones that we saw growing up, yeah. What, Stephanie, when you talk about infidelity, what do you call it?
Infidelity.
You said you don't like the word cheating, so
I
I'm
don't
just kind
like, yeah. So yeah, I just said infidelity. Yeah,
of, okay.
infidelity.
Mhm. Infidels.
Because people don't typically call other people infidelators, but they'll
Okay.
say cheaters. And I have an issue with labeling people based on their behavior. So
Okay.
that, yeah. So that's why infidelity.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Huh. I'm yeah, I don't want to get off the topic. However, I'm going to say this. I'm reading a book, the Cicely Tyson's book, and she talked about how her father was unfaithful to her mother. And so when her mother finally left her father, she says it's not as if he ever married that woman that he was having that affair with. He was like, he
Mm,
said, I really do think that it was because it was forbidden that he did it. And so once he got out of the relationship that he was in, his behavior changed. I thought it was interesting.
that's interesting. I
Yeah.
love it though, because I find that to be the truth.
Mm.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And it could be just like a child's cry for help. You know what I mean?
Right, right. The permit and
Yeah.
that permission, there's certain energies or experiences that feel that people feel like they have to have permission to do the things that they desire for whatever reason, society or what have you. And so, yeah, and then he could have just loved his daughter. I don't know. There's so many positive things that we can put on that if we think hard enough. po-
Mm.
positive possibilities. I'm saying like reasons, not saying that the behavior is okay because it's still hurting another person and it's not being integral. But
Mhm.
yeah. So as opposed to
Okay.
demonizing, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so we'll come back to that. We'll circle back on that because there is sections in this book where we talk about stuff like that. So we'll circle back on it. But let me read this again for those of you who may not have caught it the first time. Blocking this energy. We're talking about the second chakra energy. Blocking this energy can give rise to impotence, infertility, vaginal infections, endometriosis, and depression. It also interferes with our spiritual maturation, as if stating, I don't wish to see anymore. I don't wish to understand any deeper. I don't wish to interact with the learning process of life, right?
Good.
That's the energy that is behind it. So, and we do that sometimes not even consciously. We block this energy unconsciously. And when we refuse to look at something, or if we look and we see it and we look away, that's the same as stating, I don't want to see anymore. I don't wish to understand any deeper. When we don't delve into the issue, you don't have to say it with your mouth, but your actions become what is the thing that that is guiding. So I wish to see. I wish to see clearly. I wish to see, right? I wish to understand deeply. I do. Let me unpack the stuff that's going on. And I wish to interact with the learning process. I mean, that to me is juicy,
That
right?
part is so
So
good.
juicy.
Ah, yeah.
So I had to, I had to go there because I don't like putting stuff out into the universe as if it's mine. I'm reading out of a book. So I'm saying that this is what I desire for me. If allowed to flow, creative energy will continually act to reshape our lives and reveal more meaning for why things happen as they do than we could determine on our own.
Mm.
Right? So when
Yeah.
allowed to flow, yes, this energy will continually just reshape and reveal. And it's amazing because sometimes we go from one like aha moment to the next, or oh, I get that. Or we pick up a book like I'm doing now. You pick up a book and listening to somebody else's life story, then you see more clearly and more deeply your own.
Absolutely.
And I think that when we are in that mode, not just sitting up with those gotcha moments, like what TV does. TV will get you trapped in the gotcha moments where you're sitting up looking at, ooh, that was cold, or whatever it is that we're looking at, that really, and then we think to ourselves, well, I'm not that bad, right?
Mm,
I
right.
think that's what we do. Well, I'm not a drama queen because I didn't do such and such. Ooh, did you see? It's always something like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so when we watch those shows that are just about the drama and the unfolding of drama, it distracts you from the real work at hand. And yeah, so don't get caught up in that stuff. All right, so I'm going to delve into reading this for a minute. And good morning, Nacia. Hey, good to see you. I'm gonna delve into reading this for a minute, and then I'll come up for air and we can talk. Y'all know I talk doing all of this stuff anyway, so let me just do it. A woman named Kate contacted me for a reading after her husband, a man in his early 30s, died in a car accident. She was left to support two children with seemingly minimal options for coping with life, with neither formal education nor skills. Kate told me she simply had no energy left to go on living. It was obvious to me that Kate herself, and to Kate herself, that she was suffering from depression. Who wouldn't be, right? During the reading, I noted that she had a benign ovarian cyst, about which she did not yet know. We spoke about the importance of releasing the past and finding a reason to move forward, but that challenge seemed overwhelming to Kate. I told her to see her physician for a checkup regarding the cyst, and also to do some small tasks that would represent her intention to rebuild her life. That she would have a growth in her ovarian area was not surprising, because not only had she lost her mate, she had lost her way in life and was now confronting her ability even to survive physically and financially. Survival is a major issue for the second chakra.
Mm-hmm.
I want to like go off on a tangent there, but I'm gonna stay the course so that we can get through this, because my commentary right now is, but maybe I should make a mark right here. Yeah, I'm gonna make a mark right there. Okay. The task Kate chose to as a symbolic of her new beginning was to plant flowers, which represented new life. Oh, I love that, right? Because I'm always planting flowers. With each flower she planted, she said, I am planting a new beginning for myself and my children. Oh, that's so juicy. Like I should go out there and dig up some flowers and start all over again each day. Because I planted so many doggone perennials. Yeah, each day she worked more consciously to bring her energy into the present. Yeah, let me stop. Let me stop. She refused to allow herself to dwell on the past life she had had with her husband. Ooh, that's so good. You got to stay in the present, right? She also went for a physical, and her physician confirmed that she had a benign ovarian cyst. She was in no immediate danger, he said, but this cyst had to be checked periodically. Kate then added another task to her gardening. As she weeded the garden, she would say, I am pulling the cyst out of my body. I am pulling the cyst out of my body. I am pulling toxins out of my body. I am pulling the past out of my thoughts, whatever. It's like that. That's good. Putting a physical activity with a
Energy.
mental intention. That is good.
That's
And
the quantum, that's the quantum healing.
oh
When
my
you do
gosh,
that.
that's
Yeah.
good. That is so
Yeah.
good. Now, and all that the earth represents for us. Yesterday we talked about this macrocosm versus microcosm, that we in ourselves are little universes, like little force field all onto ourselves, right? Like a walking, moving planet. And so all of this we have within our own atmosphere. And so for her to go out, so y'all know I've been talking about this all summer, because I have been working in my yard like day in and day out, and I'm just, I got a collection of hostas that I love, and I've been, people calling me up and saying, hey, I'm about to, come get this hosta and go in here and get, and I'm pulling all of this together and I'm putting it in the ground. But to plant it with I know that part of my intention is that this is, especially with perennials, this is something that is ongoing. It is not just for this summer. It's not going to get to the end of the summer and die, but rather they multiply every year. They get bigger and bigger and better. And so as I'm planting with this, just like my mother did. When my mother found out she had cancer, she actually went out and planted a whole bunch of hostas because she wanted something that was going to transcend her lifetime. And we talked about this yesterday. As second chakra needs to go beyond what is just present into the future. It has this survival, this I was here kind of instinct to it. And so this whole idea of getting out there. So if any of y'all want to come and pull some weeds out of my yard, you are perfectly welcome.
That's right.
Let me get that part in there.
After you do your own yard, come on over.
Right. This morning is so funny because I went outside and the grass was glistening, and I thought, let me put down some fertilizer while this is pretty damp out here. And I took off my shoes and I walked through the grass, sprinkling down some fertilizer before I actually started my exercise this morning. So I don't have like a lot of dandelions or anything in my grass, but it is wonderful, like you say all the time, to kind of walk out there barefoot and just connect with that wonderful, wonderful earth. So after 6 weeks, Kate began to get ideas about how to create an income for herself. And this is one of the things that we do. It's like, how do we, sometimes we don't, when I was talking to Tyra yesterday, Tyra was talking about how she wanted to get out of the retail industry, which is what she's been doing ever since, for 20 some years. And she said she wanted to get out of retail. And I said to her, I said, I met a guy this past weekend when I was in Florida, when I was in Miami, who is a personal shopper. He is a stylist, and that is what he does. And I was like, maybe you could do something like that. And she was like, oh my God, that would be like my dream.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so sometimes we don't realize that, especially, sometimes we don't even know what our possibilities could be. And so it is just being open and being able to listen, and then don't look away when something comes up for you. Right. I have another girlfriend who really wanted to get out of the job that she was doing. And I asked her one time, I said, so what would you, if you had your dream of employment, because I hate to call it a job because I don't like jobs. I'm allergic to jobs myself, right? If you had your dream thing that you could do, and you know what, surprisingly, she said to me, she said, I would run a bed and breakfast.
Oh, that would be so fun too.
I was
Everything always seems fun to me when you just have the freedom to serve. I'm like,
but
that sounds like fun.
but you know what? But Stephanie, that goes in line with, so I called mine's a house of healing. You called yours a what?
The
What?
journey home.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in that, you can see that the same type of apparatus would be at work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So while it's
Mm-hmm.
not a bed and breakfast per se, you still have people coming in for the same purpose. They need to
Yeah.
take up space, a bedroom. They need to have I went to there was a girl, I can't think of her name right off. Maybe I'll think of it as I'm talking, but a woman at the church that I went to, she did a retreat. She had a retreat center, or she rented out a retreat center for a weekend where everybody came, and she looked at food as healing. And so it was her planning out this amazing, amazing spread of food. And then, it was people volunteering to run workshops during the retreat. And so you came, you had a place to sleep, and then you had these making fresh bread in the morning with mango, and then having butter that was infused with something else, and
Yes.
just juices and mimosas, and just a whole weekend of freaking decadence. And you get to do workshops and stuff. We should do something like that.
Did I bring my notebook? I didn't. I wrote in the notebook the retreat, the moment, the place, like today, this morning. And so while you're talking, I'm thinking, well, why do I need to wait for a building? Maybe I could rent a space and just do a weekend as opposed to,
Right.
housing and everything else. Like that was just this morning. So that is like yummy. I love that kind of stuff. That's what I was saying about your friend when whoever it was that asked you the question. It's like even the fact that you were available with that information to me is serendipitous.
Yes, yes,
Like that to me is that's the magic of
yes,
life,
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
That's so good. That is
All
so
right.
good.
So let me read, and I see you just put something in the window, and it's a little long, so let me read this. And she says, yes, my aunt's husband had continual relationships outside of the marriage. He
Mm.
continued to bring children into the marriage. My aunt had female issues, infections, and blocked tubes. Many folks looked at the situation and would verbally say, girl, you don't have to do this. Do you see what he's doing? She just loved that man and eventually became physically blind. I always thought her blindness was connected to her not wanting to see her life, and this held him and made it easier for her to live her life. She loved raised some children as her own. Wow, that is true. I may not have done justice to how she wrote that, but that
Oh, I
is
got it though. Yeah, that was good.
out picturing of what it is that we're talking here, right?
Mhm.
So uh that's so good, Nasia. That is so good. And so he, and we know that we talked about this yesterday, that there are, or was it the day before? There, even the choice to not see is a choice. And that choice has physical ramifications. In Cicely Tyson's book, she was talking about this very thing, that her mother was, so fed up with what it was that her husband was doing. And, she was just like, at a certain point, what you feel like you're doing is you're choosing between yourself and your own sanity and somebody else, and they're crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in order for sometimes in order for you to have your own health, in order for you to deal with your own, it requires something of you. And pretending as if you don't see it, pretending as if you are, this is not impacting you, is a choice. And that choice is based on fear. And fear, of course, carries with it its own, do I want to say demerits, or it costs you. It costs you. And so the faith to say, you know what, I don't need this sucker, or I can survive. The choice for your own survival is so important. So let me
the choice to choose faith over fear, and love over fear, being the two vibrational qualities are fear and love. So choosing, understanding that you either are choosing love over fear, like I'm choosing to love me over fear, like choosing you over the fear, and then choosing faith. To me, that's where real faith actually starts to work, is when in my mindset I have a zero. This is going to fail, but I'm choosing me anyway.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
I have faith in nothing. That's why you stay over here so long. So when I decided to come over here, I got faith in no evidence
Right.
of how this is going to turn out.
And isn't that what faith is, right?
Yes.
When you don't know and you do it anyway. And we read in there that when you make a choice based on faith, the whole universe supports you.
Yes.
Right?
That was so
Even when
yummy to
you don't
me.
know.
Yes.
Right, right. Even when you don't know.
It's almost like heaven is obligated to show up. It's like the
Yes,
Big Bang. Like,
yes. And nobody was born to be a doormat. Nobody. That's not the function of what we are, is doormats, right?
mm-hmm.
We are, to be in perpetual, yeah, it's wonderful to serve, but right, to be in perpetual servitude. Oh my goodness.
To the point where you have no identity.
And we you know what, we're gonna get into we're gonna get into this because this is coming up, so I don't want to jump too far ahead. Let me get back to where I am now, because there's a lot of this stuff that this book speaks to. So after 6 weeks, I said that she began to get ideas about how to create an income for herself. She had always been a good good at domestic activities such as cooking and sewing, but she had never considered earning a living at these skills. Then one day her friend called and said that she had sprained her wrist and was unable to sew all the costumes she had committed to make for a local theater production. Would Kate take over the task? Kate accepted, went to the theater, received instructions about the costume, then returned home with fabric and measurements. As she looked over the design, she began to fiddle with them, noting where she could make improvements. She phoned the person in charge of the costumes and suggested some changes, all of which met with approval. Her costumes were a success. Shortly afterwards, Kate's phone began ringing with the request for her to assist in other theater projections and personal design work. Serendipitous, right? Something that seems like it comes out of the blue. The universe just supports you. And sometimes remember when I was talking about, this was a long time ago, when I was talking about sometimes it takes a minute for the setup to happen.
Yes.
Sometimes when you put a prayer out there, it takes a minute for the setup to occur. So I don't even remember what it was that I was talking about. Oh, I think it was when I got the massage table and I was like, I passed it by.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I went to the store, did some shopping. I'm sitting up there and I'm in this state of confusion and all of this stuff. And then all of a sudden I got the go. It's time to go. And then I go. And what happened is that the opportunity to get the table and then the person to take the table home net up, but it took a minute to get the setup there. And so this was her getting an idea. What can I do? What can I do? And then a phone call coming out of the clear blue, right? 6 weeks. It only took 6 weeks. I think that's what it says. 6 weeks. And then the setup started to come into play. Now, this is one of those things that I like to tell people, that hang time is where you just wait, knowing that it's going to happen, knowing that something, you don't know what is going to happen. All you know is that something is going to happen. And so that hang time, being able to stay in faith during that hang time is so important.
It is. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, it's
so
important how easy it is.
It's just so amazing. So Kate has since opened her own design shop. Look at that, right? It went from not even wanting to live to now opening her own design shop and has a thriving business. Her ovarian cyst has dissolved. She has recommended to numerous people that when they feel themselves at a dead end and need to start over, to go plant some flowers, right, in the garden, with the thought, I am now planting a creative idea for myself. So if you are in one of those situations, or if you know somebody that's in one of those situations, right, go dig up some dirt, plant some flowers, and say to yourself, I am now planting a new idea for myself. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So good.
This is a popcorn day. No, this is happening. I'm getting ready to host a mirror project. Okay. And so I've been thinking, I'm like, I need themes. I love people working with their hands and doing things. And so I'm like, I can buy pots and flowers and we can, because it's an affirmation. It's a mirror project of affirmations. Okay. And so they can take that home and I can etch, do some stencil with that statement on the flower pots. Yeah. And then send it home with the affirmation card with the same thing. So I was just like, thank you. This is beautiful.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So, yeah. And so for whoever, if you're dealing with some issues, just, think about, sometimes we have to think about the out picturing of it. Like, what is it? So like her pulling up the weeds is, is also healing herself. And I'm pulling out this cyst, right? I'm taking out, because what do weeds do? Weeds confound situations. They choke off the things that are beautiful in your life, right? I got these vines that come up. Somebody called them morning glory. And
They attacking your house. They attack your house, attack your yard.
that's funny. That's funny. That's where I got this name from. I started calling the show Morning Glory. These doggone things, they are vines, and they are really beautiful. Don't get me wrong, they are really beautiful. But what they do is because they're vines, they go up and they will get another flower and wrap themselves around that other flower and choke it, right?
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, they end up choking out the things that I really want to come up. And so you'll see a vine that'll come up, and they come up quick. They grow really quick. It'll come up and it'll wrap itself around whether it's a tulip or a daffodil or something else. It'll wrap itself around it. It'll do that even with the grasses. It'll wrap itself around a few things of grass, and then all of a sudden it starts to sprout these beautiful white flowers. But now you've got whatever it's choking, that thing is now dying, right? And so I go out usually, and I just, because I watch for them, and I pull them up at the root, which then causes the rest of it to kind of give, so that the other flower can, regain itself. But maybe I need to, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I have to think that through. I think it through. All right. So Kate's story illustrates how creative energy can propel us along the paths that we may have never anticipated and enhance the power of our positive choices. A creative idea has its own energy field and can generate the synchronistic involvement of people and circumstances required to carry the idea through to the next stage of life. I need to come back to that too.
You got little tabs.
Where are they? But I need to revisit that, because okay, so let me kind of work with this for a second. A creative idea has its own energy field. So remember when I was talking about originally, I wanted a massage table. I thought I wanted a massage table. Didn't have a purpose or a plan for it. And then a couple of days later, here is one that is scot-free out on the lawn. Then it created its own momentum around it in order for me to get that table. And so I got the table, I got it home, it's downstairs. I got the room where the table is going. I got all of that stuff, but then I came to a full stop because now there's some stuff that's in that room that needs to come out that's really heavy. The scrap guy needs to come and get, there's an old, like a furnace down there that needs to come out of that room. And I need to get some help moving something else. But that was like, so when it says that it creates its own energy field, maybe my full stop waiting on these other steps to come on in is the full stop that is there. So here's the question that I would have for you too, right? Because I think that this work is a work that all of us need to be looking at in our lives. If something has not come to fruition for you, work through the steps and ask yourself, if not, why not? Right? Because all of these things are like have their own energy field and their own momentum and are meant to move forward. So when it doesn't, then what is the block? Where is the block? Is it you, right? And so they generate synchronistic involvement of people and circumstances required to carry the idea through to the next step. This is so big. So it's like a question of what's the dream? What's the desire? You know, where have you seen the synchronicity? And then how do you then move into that, right? We all, you know, sometimes what we do, and I'll say this because we all have different giftings, right? Each and every one of us, we come to this planet with something that is ours to do. And so I come on here and I know that part of my gifting is me and my talking, my over-splaining stuff, my ministry stuff. I know that this is part of my gifting. If I'm not trying to do Stephanie, I'm doing Sandra, right? And sometimes what we do is we look at other people and in looking at these other people, we sit there and say, oh, I want to, you know, I'm not trying to be Marianne Williamson. That's not me, right? Yes, I want to write a book. Yes, I do the talking. I do all of that stuff, but I'm not her. I'm doing me and my lane. And so what you have to do is find your gifting and your lane and do that thing. Not trying to be somebody. Sometimes you get inspirations or ideas from seeing somebody else's stuff, but that does not mean that you go and try to emulate them. That means that let me investigate what it is for me to do, right? Mm-hmm. And figuring out that piece is part of the finding your voice, finding who you are and what it is that is yours to do.
Yes, and that is it. And that's like once you do that work, everything else is the flow. Everything else, this life right here, a creative idea in its own energy field can generate the synchronicity involvement of people and circumstances. That happens. It just starts to happen.
It really
without efforting. You just show up and be like, because you're so surrendered to learning who you are, that you're so that life just kind of carries you to the next spot and the next spot and the next spot. But that discovery and understanding who you are, like intrinsically, who am I? That to me is just like the opening of the, you know, the shell or the chrysalis. It's like it's starting to, like, the reality of what this hall has meant starts to become alive and becomes a physical manifestation that is like dreams that come true over and over.
Right. So so it is finding your own truth, right?
Yeah.
Finding what you do. And then once you find that thing, then allowing the universe to show you, to draw you in and to show you how to unfold that vision. And you do that by following the breadcrumbs.
Yes. It's so true.
I will say to y'all, because while I think that, and I, you know, I don't know, I think that I'm good at what I do, right? What the piece that I play, I'm good at. If I had to do Stephanie's piece, y'all, I would be in trouble. and let me tell you why, because I know that I am a feeling person. And I have this thing of if I'm sitting up listening to your drama, all of a sudden that's gonna feel heavy on me.
Yes.
Right. Yes. And I can't hear. I can't get the stuff that I need to get if I'm sitting up dealing with everybody else's drama. When I'm saying I don't know what happened in the news, You know, I'm walking through the streets of Miami and it's like they got all this tape, you know, this do not, I understood that there was a shootout or something down there. I'm oblivious to stuff. I have shootouts on my street. I am oblivious to that. You know why? Because I am in this, my atmosphere is filled with love and joy, and I see the best in people. I don't want to hear your drama. I'm gonna hang up on you. Wait a minute. No, I'm not gonna hang up on you. I'll listen to you for a minute. I will support you for a few minutes. But if you come back tomorrow with the same drama, I'm hanging up on you. I'm just telling you. That's Stephanie's gifting. It ain't my gifting. You know, she may hold your hand. I am not. I am gonna be blunt with you. I'm gonna say what it is that I think, and that's yours to deal with.
Yeah, you do that even in the people who come back. You always are surprised. Oh, they're back. They're back for more. I've had women tell me so many times, I did not want to come back. And then a week later, it's like, oh my gosh, she's right. And then I'm back. And so, yeah, just because they come back doesn't mean they don't get the strong inspiration, encouragement to do something different. Is just when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And I just really, I see it, I've experienced it myself. And so for me, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. So I'll be like, girl, bye. because here's one of the things. I know that sometimes when you're a teacher and you give people good information, they're not always ready to receive it. Yeah. And so if you are not ready to receive it, if it's not something that you can embrace and take, okay, I say what I gotta say and I'm gonna leave it there. Right? You, in your own sweet time, when you ready, you will do what it is that you need to do. Because I know I'm like that, right? If I know that I need to, if I know that the next step to that of my massage table, whatever I'm supposed to do with that revelation, if I know that my next step is waiting for me, right, is there, but I got to make the next step. I can sit there in that room, can sit down there for a couple of months, right? It can sit down there. And then when I'm ready, I'll do it when I'm ready. And that's how all of us are. If you know that it's if the husband was cheating on you and you got a choice to make, I don't want to hear you come to me every week and complain about him. You got work to do. Do it. Just like that. Do it. Don't come back to me crying. So I couldn't even take your money. I couldn't even take your money if you're not doing what your party is. I'd be sitting there like, Stephanie probably wouldn't even do this. I'd be sitting up there thinking like,
yeah, so I promote a non-judgmental space.
Just go.
And there's some people who can hear that. And I'm telling you, there's some people who can hear it. I was raised by a person like that. I don't like it. I have my own issues with it, but I was raised by someone like that. And so I understand, and that works for some people. And then there's other people like me that I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure about my knower yet, And so, and then that's what I love to do. I love to help people learn about who they are, their I am, and stand in it, because I believe when you do that, then you can go to you and get the message and keep moving. Okay. But there's something missing. It's simple mathematics. There's missing. There's a variable there that needs to be addressed.
Yeah. I don't have that kind of patience with folks. I will tell you, I don't have that kind of patience. Let me stop saying that. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We gotta work together. We gotta get some patience.
Yes, I am loving and I am open and receptive, but I also know that I am just a conduit through which this stuff flows.
And
And
that's
if I'm
good
trying to,
too.
if I'm trying to get in the bathtub with you and sit there and marinate in some stuff,
No, you cannot do that.
I'll be like, no, I gotta keep it moving. Nicaea says she agrees 100%. She said her grandfather used to say, things don't concern you, things that don't concern you, leave them alone. And yes, I am like that. It's
That's
just because,
good. I like
yeah,
that.
because well, people be walking around like a bag lady and it ain't even they stuff. Right, they be pulling
Yes.
around other and you know what, I used to have people who would come to classes and they come in and they want to talk about other people's stuff. I'm like, if they ain't here, we not talking about them.
Yes, you can't do that. Yeah, that's effective therapy as well.
Right,
So, yeah.
we're not talking about them. If they are not in the room, I ain't
Yeah.
concerned with them. I
Yeah.
just, because we can
Because
talk,
that's, yeah, let's talk about you.
yeah, we can talk about people all day. All right, so symbolically, Kate's story also represents the presence of spiritual energies of the Safra of Yasad, the need to create, that's the phallus symbol, the penis, and the sacrament of communion, the magnetic force we radiate that draws help to us when we need help the most. Ooh. There is a magnetic force that draws help to you when you need the help the most.
The most.
That's good. But sometimes people are in this idea that they are drowning and they're actually not. So we got drama people. Remember the story about that they used to say about the boy who yelled fire? They tell you not to yell fire if there's not really a fire because people stop coming because you're always just, you know,
crisis.
yeah, in crisis mode. But sometimes these things come up to show you that, you know, you can handle this.
Yes.
Like stand on your own two big spiritual feet and declare, I am able, I am prepared. Whatever this is, I be sitting up there saying like, is this all you got? Like, I'm gonna do this. Let me stop. I'm crazy. It's the coffee that I just drank.
Okay.
It's the coffee. I'm so like over the top excited here. Let me calm myself down. Hoosah, hoosah. All right. Oh yeah, that's so good. Because creative energy is so volatile, however, and so powerful, one of our greatest challenges is to use it consciously. We most frequently utilize our creativity in the privacy of our thoughts, but creative energies are also present in our interactions with other people. We may, for example, creatively change the details of stories we tell others to suit our own purposes. It's called embellishing sometimes. Or we may manipulate someone to get something we want. Right? How often have we done that? These are acts that use energy in negative ways. Gossip and manipulation drain power from the second chakra. Let me read that again for those of you who did not understand it. Gossip and manipulation drain power from the second chakra. So, y'all know what manipulation is, because if somebody manipulates you, you know it full well, right? Let me think. Can I give an example, a good example of something that happened to me where I felt as if I was being manipulated. I can't think of anything. Nothing's coming to me. I'm
So
not
did,
feeling
did
it.
I hear you say that if you are being manipulated, you know that you're being manipulated?
Um, we may manipulate someone to get something we want.
Oh,
Right?
when we're manipulating.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah,
Okay, yes, yes,
right. So
yes.
I will say to you that I have had instances where I throw out stuff, right? And it's not to be manipulative. It's like I just throw out stuff, right? So say for instance, in order to get what I want, right? So say for instance, I've been on this kick of I want this. This is going to sound really silly, right? But this is the kind of stuff that I do. I want this lipstick by Givenchy that is called Black, right? And it basically is like a mood lipstick, like a mood ring. And
Mm-hmm.
so the lipstick, every time you put it on, it may be a different color because it's a mood lipstick. But the
Mm-hmm.
doggone lipstick costs like $35.
Mm-hmm.
And if you buy the case that goes with it, it's really a $50 investment. And I don't want to pay $50. See what I mean? And so you go around and you tell everybody, I want this lipstick.
Oh wow. Okay.
and and you don't want to pay $50 for the lipstick. You just figure, okay, I'm just gonna tell everybody I know I want this lipstick, and maybe they'll come up with a, oh, you know what, so and so makes this same kind of lipstick that's only $23, and then I'll feel better about it. But paying $50 for some lipstick is just kind of crazy to me, right? Whatever. It's not manipulative. It's just, I'm gonna throw this out there. It's crazy.
I don't
Um,
know if that's manipulative. I think that's magical. Like, I mean, it is, well, it's like, is it here? Or maybe it's under this bush, or maybe it's under there. Like you're believing to
okay.
for it to come. And so you're checking.
Yes, okay. So Al says, think of it like a job interview or when you are part of a project team, even in a relationship. Okay, so manipulation can be any of those things, right? But
Mm-hmm.
now, am I manipulating you in a job interview, or is it, yeah, or is it that you're putting your
I
best
never
foot
even
forward?
considered
Yeah,
that for a job interview.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is the
But
time.
that's
That's good. Okay.
yeah, it's good. All right, so I'm going to read this last paragraph, and then we're going to close after this paragraph, although I have the whole paragraph highlighted. So I'm not sure what it says,
Page
but
138 or 137.
138.
Okay.
138. So here we go. Negative acts and negative thoughts originate in fear.
Yeah, that's a good paragraph. Mm-hmm.
Yes. To the extent that fear of betrayal by another person, for instance, or of violation within a relationship or of being taken advantage of financially has authority within us, it determines the extent to which we will behave in negative ways. Faith in anything, be it positive or negative, produces results.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say that again.
That's good.
Faith in anything, positive or negative, produces results.
Oh, that's
Faith in anything, positive or negative, produces results. I want to give y'all some examples of that. But let me finish this paragraph, and then we're going to come back to that, because I want to show you how sometimes it's faith in your fear, faith in your limitations, faith in a whole plethora of things it produces results. Ooh, so let me come back to that. Think about that for a minute. Wait a minute. Go with me, and then we'll come back. Putting faith in fear generates destructive results, beginning with the disintegration of our ability to relate confidently to the external world. Putting faith in fear generates destructive results, beginning with the disintegration of our ability to relate confidently to the external world. Okay, so let me tell y'all this. I put up a story on Facebook because when we were in Miami, my sister-in-law has some issues going on with her foot. She had surgery on her foot that didn't quite turn out right, and so she can't put any weight on her foot for, I don't know how long it is, maybe about 4 months or something like that, 16 weeks or something like that. Anyway, we all wanted to go down to the beach, but in going to the beach, you can't walk on the beach with crutches, and you can't really walk on the beach with that roller thing that she has. And so we wanted to go to the beach, but she couldn't go to the beach, and we weren't going to the beach unless she was going with us. And so, every time she saw sand, she just stopped. And I was like, come on, let's go down there. And, oh no, I can't. Y'all go ahead and go. No, we are going, and you are going with us, right? So here, you know how I am. I was like, all right, we just gonna, I said, get on my back. And she was like, I'm not putting this on your back. I'm not putting all of this on your back. So then we devised this plan where my brother was going to get on one side of her, my nephew on the other. And so they both grabbed the leg, and we started, because at first she was just like saying, no, y'all go, I'll sit here. No, you gonna go. And so she was like, so when we decided that they were going to carry her, she was so resistant. Like, I'm not, no, like, what? This is your son and your husband. Why can't they carry you? Right? She was just so like,
Feel
no.
that too. What is that?
And I said, what are you afraid of? I'm not understanding why you are not letting these two men carry you. So finally, it was because we were just standing there at the edge of the doggone beach. Finally, it's like, okay. And so they pick her up, and one grabs one leg and the other grabs another leg. And here we go. And so we go down to the thing, and we stopped at the where the lifeguard station is. And we sat there because we didn't have chairs. We didn't have anything with us. We were just going down there to the beach. So we didn't have anything to sit on. So we sat down at the lifeguard station until the lifeguard comes out and says, hey, you can't sit down there. You have to sit someplace else. Whatever. So we go over and we finally sit our butts down on the sand, and we sit there, and I got all of these pictures of us just sitting in the sand and just kind of doing the thing. And then, and so there was all of this, I couldn't, for lack of another reason, I was like, I couldn't figure out, I don't know, maybe if it was me, maybe I wouldn't want somebody to carry my whole weight either. I don't know. But if it's it's not like everybody don't know, how much you weigh, right? So it's like, whatever, just submit.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, on the way back, instead of them going through the same process, I was like, girl, get on my back, right? And so after she was like, I'm not getting on your back, blah, 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 right? And we didn't, you know, she didn't want to get on Kevin's back. But then her son leans down. Sorry, sometimes I get so choked up. Her son just kind of leans down and said, come on, Ma, you know, and he just kind of squats down because little Kev is 6'6" now. And you know, he's the one that just got the basketball scholarship. He's the one who was talking about the coach from hell who would call him in the morning, even when he came from out of town. And he'd be calling him in the morning saying, did you get your run in? And, you know, he was like, this coach scared the heck out of him. And so, you know, he's in shape, you know, he's 20, you know, he got a 20-year-old body. And so he carries his mother on his back, which is really what could have happened in the first place had she not been so freaking resistant, you know? And so that was how we got back to off of the sand and back to the car, was him carrying his mother on his back. And you know, and for me, it's like one of those things that we always talk about. You know, I guess there's a place in the Bible where it says once an adult, twice a child, because because sometimes it is, you know, that it's our responsibility, you know, as a parent to carry, you know, you carry your kids. And then when it's time for them to carry you, you gotta have that surrender in you to say, man, you know, sometimes I won't be able to do this on my own. You know, I won't be able to always be that, you know, be what I think I should be. And you gotta learn how to surrender and allow somebody else to love you. You gotta be in that space. And so for me, it was so touching. I mean, the whole thing was really touching, but at the same time, you know, sometimes we just don't receive help. And that not receiving help, not even asking for help, is sometimes our own fear.
It is fear.
Yes, that somebody will let us down, or that they'll have, yeah, it's like so all reasons. Of that. And so we have got, you know, sometimes it is just being in the space to be able to ask yourself, well, what is it here that I'm afraid of? And that's one of the questions that for me, I think becomes important. If not, why not? What am I afraid of? What am I avoiding? What am I, yeah, what's the worst that can happen here, right?
And I will be okay. How in the worst, knowing that's that I am part piece of really knowing how powerful you are, so that no matter how this ends up, there is something inside of me that knows I'm going to be okay. And that's that confidence in self and the universe of who I am. Yeah, that's good. It's so true.
So this whole thing, I realized, hey, good morning, Faith. Welcome. Faith in anything, be it positive or negative, produces results. So sometimes when we are, you know, sometimes we take a job because we fear we won't get a better offer. Sometimes we get in relationships because we fear that this is the best we can get. Sometimes we don't ask for what it is that we believe we deserve because we have fear that if we say, you know what, no, I ain't taking no $30 an hour for this. I know that you have hired people not at an hourly rate, but at a yearly rate. They get this, they get that. I mean, even if you don't have any evidence Knowing your own worth and being able to speak to that is powerful. And not getting caught up in the fear that they'll say, oh, you ain't gonna take that. Oh, but right. Sometimes you have to just make your line in the sand. Sometimes you just got to make your stand and know that the universe will support you. Oh my God, is that not? So one of the things in me writing my book, I have been working on writing my book, and as I started doing the editing myself, I go back, and as I'm reading it, I was saying to myself, I'm asking myself as I read it, if I was audacious and living at the edge of possibility, what would I be writing? Right? I'm not trying to go in the middle just from what I know. I'm trying to go to the edge of what I know.
That's really good. I love that.
Yeah. And just
That's really good.
like saying, God, I'm gonna meet you out there at the edge. And I think that when we stop just trying to play it safe, right? Faith in anything, be it positive or negative, produces results.
Oh, God.
So
Right.
why not go to the edge? Why not go as far out as you can go, right? And then, yeah, and then plant your seed there. Plant your seed there in the possibility, in the faith, not in your fear, right? And so I think I think that I will stop there. I might revisit this again tomorrow because it's such a juicy paragraph as we unpack it. I think that I think that is something that all of us can really, really kind of just look at our lives, kind of, and ask ourselves, where are we stuck because of fear? Where are we stuck because we don't have faith? Where is it? All of that stuff. That in itself, is just so big. It's so big. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to put a little mark, a hashtag right there, a little hash mark, where I should say. We'll stop right there, and then we will pick this up in the morning, right? And if you're not here in the morning because you don't get up early on Saturdays, that's cool too, because it'll be posted up on my timeline, just like all the rest of these. But I think this is some important work that, I don't even have to tell you that. If you don't, look, I'll be like, girl, bye, right? If you don't get it, it'll still be there. When you're ready.
When she's ready, when he's ready, when the student is ready.
When you're ready. And you can sit up, because a lot of times what we do is we sit up year after year with the same old junk, the same old angst. Like you ain't doing that. Like you ain't dealing with it. But you're gonna deal with it on some level. Either you're gonna deal with it when it's in the external world, or when it becomes something internal. And then what are you going to do? Go back and tell the doctor, oh, give me a pill for it, or take it out, or whatever. But then you're going to create the same shiggity over and over again when you don't deal with it. So you may get a pill that'll come in and dissolve a situation, but then what happens is if you haven't dealt with it on a mental level in your life, it's going to spring right back up, come back to bite you right in the butt. This is the work that is here. This is your stuff. This is your stuff. My stuff is my stuff, right? I know that I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to start cleaning out that doggone room, because I know that that's part of my thing. So We love you too, Nasia. Thank
Love
you.
you, Nicia.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down there and start cleaning out that room, and I'm gonna call this man again and tell him to come over here and pick up this thing, because he can go and get some cash for my junk. Just all he got to do is get it out. And
It's calling you.
yes, and get set up, because that reading that just was like, ooh, really, that is so true. A creative idea has its own energy field
Good.
and can generate synchronistic involvement of people and circumstances required to carry the idea through to the next stage. You guys, let's get busy, whatever it is. And you know, when you had something that all of a sudden it just, like, you know, the gears started shifting when you had the idea. You know what yours is. I know what mine is. We all got our stuff. Go get busy. All right. What did they say? Yeah, get busy. All right. I will see y'all tomorrow.
See you in the morning.
And yeah, there we go. And thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you. This was yummy.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. All right. Bye.
Have a good rest of the day.
Yes, amazing Friday.
Mhm.
Blessings.